But I woke up and got a coffee and went on with my day like I normally would, because in my mind that game was a win. That was a big game for us.
I hate losing, so I'm sure everyone else would tell you the exact same thing. But yeah, it was kind of like a eye-opening, a wake-up call. So
it really hit home when I decided to look up what the streak was and said 9th all-time in high school history. That really is when it hit me. Then I got kind of sad, but again, a weight lifted off our shoulders now. We're not really thinking about that. Now we're just able to play. That's what happened back in, was it 2015? We were playing really well. We were expecting to sweep through everybody. Had that one loss, and then everybody refocused back up.
I know people try to make it a bigger deal than it is, but I looked on to June 8th. I'm worried about winning then. I don't really care that much about a streak. I mean, it shows how successful we've been, but everybody's lost. Everybody's lost a game. We've lost in soccer. Hasn't been a surprise, and we lost last Friday, and unfortunately we did break the streak, but I think as a team we're on to June 8th and on to whoever else tries to compete with us.
Like in the moment, like we lose the game, and I'm like, all right, like it didn't really hit me until the next day. Like, oh, we have an L in the column, in the stat column. So I was like after the game, I was like, wow. I mean, the guys battled really hard. That was the general consensus of the team. Coaches said the same thing. Really, like I said, it didn't hit me in the moment. But the next morning, I was just a little flustered, and you wish you could have some plays back, some shots back, some possessions back, D stands. But overall, I love playing in that game. It was a good one.
It was. It definitely had a bad taste. It didn't. I wasn't upset. It wasn't like, the streak's gone or whatever. Like, it was just disappointing. Like we had played so well and had a chance to improve. Like I said, I really feel like for 40 out of the 48 minutes we won that game, and just to see the scale tipped so far that way, but not be able to win. You know, you can't help as a coach but replay some things in your head, things you would have done differently. But again, I told the boys, like, I learned a lot. I got better as a coach. I think they got better as players. You know, communications. Man, I wish we had another timeout at the end of that game, and having to burn one of those timeouts because we didn't have enough guys on the field really hurt. You know, looking back, I take a lot of pride in the way we manage games, and I think when things got crazy, all of us weren't paying attention, and to have to blow a timeout like that and not have it at the end of the game to give ourselves a chance, I'm kicking myself for that one. But I think the guys also appreciate that openness, that we as a coaching staff can also say, hey, you know what, guys, we messed up too, right? And we're going to learn and we're going to get better from that. And I think that's one of the things that makes our team so strong, is that there's an accountability from everybody there. We can all look ourselves in the mirror and say we could have done things better. And there wasn't a whole lot of finger pointing going on there at that point. I think we rode really well. We created some turnovers off of rides. I think we weathered through, as we've talked about before, on our worst days. And I think I really appreciate Chad from Portsmouth. Coach Fisher from Portsmouth has said the most impressive thing that he saw in our 65-game streak is every high school team has bad days. They're not playing their best, but our guys seem to find a way to weather through those things, right? And arguably yesterday was not our best day. We were having trouble picking up ground balls on an uneven field. We let the crowd get to us a little bit. A lot of our guys are from, we've got a fair number of guys from Hollis, and there was a little bit of ragging going on in the field. And I was impressed with the fact that our guys were able to execute enough to find a way against the number one team in our division right now, who was currently undefeated, get a nice victory there. I wish we had just capitalized on a few things more to maybe send you an even bigger statement that, hey, there is no chink in the armor. We're here and we're ready to go.
I think it should just show that we're able to close out games. When they start to get close and when we have an early lead and maybe screw up in the third quarter and maybe give up a few goals, but as a team, it lifted everybody and we were able to come back and win.
We came out after a tough loss versus Exeter. We got the win. We're sitting at first place again. That's the best thing you can ask for. The tough part about it was we fell a little bit flat going into the second half. Combination of probably the hottest day that we've played out there. Playing on a pretty mucky, humid field. Weather wasn't great. I don't know, but like I said, we got out of there with a win, so that's all we can really ask for.
Well, what I realize is that we're definitely a first half team, so understood that. I also realized that we are able to slow it down, or we need to slow it down once we get a lead when a team is playing zone, because in the past we've been a run and gun team, just sprint all the way up and down the field. But with a 6-goal lead going into that half, we need to just take a step back and run our plays.
Biggest positive, I think, is just knowing that there are things that we have to work on, and that I think that game was probably our worst game of the season, without a doubt. I think that, but what that means with that being the worst game of the season is that there's nowhere to go but up, and I think that a lot of guys were definitely upset with how they played that game, but it's something that we saw today in practice that guys were looking more forward to, that we still have the rest of the season, and we still won that game. Like, at the end of the day, we still won, and that's okay. That's what matters.
I say the positive is that we're able to bounce back after losing a game like that. And I know for the rest of the season, I mean, especially going into second season playoffs, we can't lose any games, but knowing that we're able to bounce back and kind of learn from our mistakes. But I think the last 2 games have been really eye-opening, and I think that kind of shifted in practice today. And I hope throughout the rest of the 3 games this week it'll change, and then the boys will be rolling, and we got to be playing our best lacrosse. So and I think we will be. So I'm excited.
Go, Peter, go! Peter, go! Peter, go!